Hey everybody, we're back for some drawing fun. Thank you for joining me. Now, as you know, I've had some technical difficulties these last few shows, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. I want to ask you all, if the stream goes down, hang out for a few minutes because it most likely will come back. We've checked everything. I've rebuilt my show from scratch using Wirecast. I've checked out all the router stuff and the modem. Everything seems fine. My speeds are amazing. But we still have intermittent internet service here at my house. I can't figure out what's going on. So let's just see what happens. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Enough of that. And I hope everyone's taking care of themselves. And you're enjoying this nice transition from summer into fall, depending on where you live in the world. Of course, if you're somewhere where that is reversed, then, you know, happy spring to you. Now, today is a hard day for me because my teeth hurt. I had to go to the dentist. Had to spend a long time there. Apparently, I've been grinding my teeth. Not a good habit, but you know, I'm doing it in my sleep. And yeah, lots of work to be done there, lots of things. And yeah, most people don't like going to the dentist. It's not their favorite thing to do. And the dentist, he asked me, he said, "What kind of filling do you want?" And I said, "Chocolate, please." Why don't we do some drawing? Okay, here we go. Now, you're going to have to grab yourselves a pencil, a pen, a marker, or a crayon, or anything that you can make some kind of a mark with, okay? Could just be a piece of barbecued chicken, you know? You just smear it all over the page. I don't care what you draw with, okay? That's not my business. But what I am here to do is teach you how to do a little bit of drawing and have some fun together. And the first thing we're going to do is a you draw it. And this is where I draw something, and then you just follow along with me. And we're going to make this as simple as possible. These are the kinds of drawings that you can do anytime, anywhere. They're just a few simple steps, and they're really fun to do repeatedly. So it's fun to do these drawings. Come back in a couple months, try them again, change them up a little bit. We use simple geometric shapes and we use simple line work, okay? So they're fun for everybody, for all ages. Now I want to say hi to some folks in the chat before we get going. So who do we have here today? Hello, we have Jan. Nice to see you. Oh my goodness, look at all these people I got to say hello to. I can't even possibly get down this long list. So many nice folks. Hi, 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 hi. We have Sam and RB, and we have Steve and Elizabeth, and oh my gosh, I'm just scrolling through. Hi everybody, nice to see you. Thanks for joining in. Okay, why don't we get cracking? Now to do these drawings, you have to be able to do a straight line, okay, a zigzag, or a curvilinear line. All right, that's all you got to be able to do. A curvilinear line can sometimes be a C curve, could be a shallow C curve, or it could be a longer C curve like that. All right, why don't we get cracking? Here we go. Zoom in a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Got my trusty pencil here ready to go. And the first thing we're going to do is a line straight across, okay? Now, if you're drawing on paper, you might be saying, well, how long does that line need to be? Okay, I'll tell you. Maybe about 2 inches, somewhere thereabouts, which is about, I think, about 6 centimeters, 5 centimeters, something like that. Just to give yourself some room. So we're going to add some stuff up here. We're going to add some stuff down here, okay? But this is the beginning. We draw a line. That's simple. Does it have to be perfectly straight? No, don't worry about that. It can be as wobbly as you like. No big whoop. All right, now we're going to come down this way. And how long, you might ask? Well, a little shorter than this first line, okay? A little shorter than that first line. Now I want to do some symmetry here, so I'm going to look at the distance between this line and this, and this, and this, and I'm going to say, bam, make myself a little dot. I always like to make dots on the page. It helps me find the right spot to aim for. See here, I could have made a little dot right there to make sure that I make that line the same length. So dot up your page, okay, gang? Don't worry about making little marks here and there to help yourself and guide you along. It's a nice thing to do. Now, one final line right here across this way, like so. Okay, and now for a little fancy touch. Are you ready? I'm going to draw a diagonal line and stop right about there. Okay, just leave a little bit of space. And then I'm going to do one next to it, starting here and coming down that way. Okay, you may be wondering what that's all about. Well, it's just a nice little graphic detail. And it's going to come in handy later. All right, now zoom in a bit more so you can really see what I'm doing here because we're going to draw a C curve. That C curve is going to come up and around like a half circle. All right, watch carefully. Now, I could start right here on this line, but I'm going to come in slightly right about here, come up and around like that. Now I'm going to come over to this side and do the same thing. Start slightly in here, come up, and around like that. Okay, they don't have to be exactly the same size, but it's nice to try and make them roughly the same size. Okay, gang? All right, how are we all doing here? Let's see. Yotirmia is asking, hope I said your name, and Yortimaya is asking, is that a hat? Could indeed be a hat. Yes, I believe you are onto something there. Now, here comes a little line and a little line, and then a little line and a little line. See that? Just some tiny little lines in there. Next step, we're going to make a triangle in between these two bumps here, and I'm going to give myself another dot to aim for. I want it to be in the center between these two lines. So I'm going to pop up this way, right about to here. Okay, it could be here, it could be there. Don't sweat it, gang. But I'm going to put it about here. Okay, so that shows me, oh, okay, that's about centers. And I can come down here and connect, come up there and connect. Alrighty, there we go. Next, can make a little diamond shape here. See that? Made a little line down that way. So now the top of that becomes a sort of a diamond. All right, now this one is kind of tricky. We have to do a shallow C curve, right? Shallow C curve. It's going to come down this way and up that way. All right, so if you want, what you can do again is you can give yourself some nice little guidelines. Now I'm going to come up from the middle of this bump up this way, past this spot here. So I'm going to come up. All right to about there. Do the same thing on this side. I come up to from this little bump right here, up and right about there. Okay, so try and make those about the same distance from here, same height. Then I can just connect them, right? One, like that, and two, like that. Hey, hey, not bad. So that's a little trick you can use, those little dots. You know, I look at that second one, I feel like I could do that a little better. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, now I'm gonna come up to the top again from the center, straight up this way. How far? Let's see, I could go 1, 2. So I'm doubling this distance from here to here, and then cracking on up to there, right about there. That feels pretty good, okay? You wanna go a little higher? Go for it. You wanna go a little lower? Go for it. No one's gonna judge you here. Okay, this is a judgment-free drawing zone. Now, to get from here to here, I'm gonna do a slightly curved line. See that? Slightly curved. And then from that point, slightly curved as well to connect. So what we have is sort of this triangle with rounded sides. Okay, hope that helps. That's one way to look at it, right? Okay, now watch this. I'm gonna draw a line out this way, like so. And this next line I'm gonna draw straight up, like so. Okay, so this is not symmetrical. We have some asymmetry here. So we have one straight up and one out to the right. And now I'm gonna do another curvilinear line, but this one is gonna be like, it's gonna start out kind of straight and then it's gonna curve in towards the end. Watch this. Straight and a curve, and it connects right there. Leave a little space between that line we just made, that straight line. See that? Same over here. Straight and a curve. And by now, I'm sure you figured out what's going on here, right, gang? Okay. Well, we're going to finish it out nice and simple. What's going on? My stream got replaced for some reason. All right, I'll carry on and finish this out, and then we'll figure out what's going on later. Okay. Now I'm going to do a little crisscross. We got an X right here. Okay. And that's going to make a little nose for our bunny. And then we're going to come up this way and that way. Check it out. Not bad, right? And now straight on up and straight on up. Look how easy it is to build a rabbit face. Here comes a little circle right here. And a little circle right there. Excelente. And that is a bunny face. See that? We made an X. We just curved up those corners. A couple of lines right there, and you've made a rabbit. Could not be easier. Now for the whiskers, we just go 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. That is a cute bunny. Now why do you suppose we made this diamond shape here? Well, watch this. I'm going to come out this way and then curve up. And out this way and then curve up. And then a couple of little lines, and we have a bow tie. How sweet is that? Now, you know, I like to add action lines, so we're going to go 1 and a 2, and a 1 and a 2, and maybe a 3. Why not? Here is a happy little bunny popping out of a hat. Nice little magic trick, right? When you see the rabbit pop out of the hat. You want to add a little ground there, you can do this. right? Just to kind of ground it. Do a couple right here maybe, something like that. And we slide it on over. And that is our You Draw It. We have a happy little bunny. All right, let me just jump over here for a moment and see what's going on. Sam Peterson says, a little bit of a mix-up. Yeah, Sam, can you fix this problemo? Wondering why I'm not live. I know I'm live on YouTube apparently, or at least it says I am. So this is confusing. All right, I'll check my Slack here really quickly and see what's up. All right, well, folks, looks like there was a mix-up with the stream times there. My apologies. But if you're watching on YouTube, no worries. Thanks for joining me. And by the way, I'm going to be able to, of course, post this so that'll be archived on YouTube so you can at least get the You Draw It portion out of this and the art tip. So at least we have that together. And that's not too shabby, is it? All right, let's continue with our art tip. Now today, the art tip is one that I touched on not too long ago where... let's see here. It says, yeah, we have 2 events going on. Okay, excellent. All right, the art tip is something I touched on a few weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, where I very quickly had to add some mountains in the background of a drawing. And I thought I'd expound on that a little bit and show you some ideas for how to draw mountains. And I'm going to show you how to do it in a way using just line, more or less. Line, a little bit of tone, but basically just line. Now here's the key. First of all, when drawing mountains, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do these little triangle kind of shapes, okay? And look at how each of these is roughly the same size, okay, and roughly the same set of angles. No, we don't want to do that, okay? What we do want to do is this. Think about this being the general shape of the mountain that you want to draw, okay? Now watch this. I'm going to do something clever here. I'm going to use a light green, okay, and then I'm going to use this dark green over it so you can see. This is the general shape of the mountain I want to draw, but watch what I do. I come up at an angle, pop over this way, maybe come in a bit, maybe up again, and there. See, I'm following kind of along those lines, but I'm breaking it up with zigzags, okay? And those angles, you try and make them slightly different here and there. All right, now that's what you want to do. And then you want to vary and overlap these mountain shapes. Okay, so another one could be here, slightly smaller. Okay, and then out that way. And then we have maybe one right here that goes up and over and down. Right? Now we're starting to get somewhere. Okay, now I want to show you something else. Just get rid of this for a moment. Once I kind of have this idea for drawing these shapes, right, and varying them up and down and over and down and up and so on. Okay, this could be my little mountain range. All right, now watch this next trick. Here's how you add dimension. You add 3 dimensions to your drawing. Come to wherever you see a little apex here, right? And watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to zigzag on down that way and over and sometimes up and down and over. Okay, you see that? What I'm doing is I'm going to be creating a face for the mountain where the light is hitting and then another face where it's facing away from the light, okay? And I can come and I can do that and I can sort of figure out by looking at the shape. Now I've determined that maybe this is going to be the side that's getting some light. So if I want, I can draw another little shape kind of out here. And I can say, okay, this is also catching a little bit of light. This is facing the light. And maybe over here, another little shape right there is catching the light. See what we're doing? Okay. And maybe that's catching a little light right there. All right. This is neat. So now you're starting to add some dimension, okay, to your mountain. All right, now let's try something else. I want to show you another neat trick. So we've started to break this up. Now, if you want, what you can do is you can add little sort of triangular shapes or zigzaggy shapes here and there where another bit of the mountain is kind of poking through and catching some light. See that? Or you might have another area that's turning away from the light, right? So like maybe I've got a little area right here. Just pop this forward. Maybe that's just catching a little bit of light right there. Who knows? You can get creative with this, okay? There aren't any really bad decisions you can make here. If I want, I can even have that maybe kind of turn away. And if it does, I'll just change the angle slightly. So it's more kind of a straight line right there. All right, now, here's another trick. When you have this area that's in the darkness, right? I'm just gonna, to speed things up, I'm going to fill it in using a little tool here, the lasso tool in Photoshop, but you could just color this in normally. I'm just doing this because I want to save a little time here for this demo. All right, now I'm gonna just fill these in nice and dark, solid color. See that? Okay, and then we're going to come here and just add some more shadow right here. Da-da-da. Okay, and actually this shadow should carry on down this way. That looks good. Now, what you do is, once you've got that dark area, you add some lines, okay? Thick at first, and then thinner, or you can have lines that are the same width but spaced apart more and more. And what you're doing is you're creating this effect of the mountain kind of fading into the background here, because what you want to do, and I do the same thing with the lines that are describing the silhouette of the mountains. Why would I do this? The reason for this is to make it so that the mountains are taking, you're taking advantage of the illusion of atmospheric perspective, which is where things seem to recede if they're in the distance and you can't really see the details of them very well. They get fuzzier, okay, more hazy. So we want to do this to create space between this background element, the mountains, and whatever our foreground elements are, or middle ground elements. All right, so by taking the bottom area of the mountains, okay, whether they're in shadow or not, and just kind of fading them out like this, using this little trickery here, then what you're going to be able to do, see I fade all this out, add a few little marks here and there throughout, just little bits and pieces, okay? That just kind of breaks up the surface and helps to make things a little bit more rough. It's kind of like you're adding a bit of texture there, if that makes sense, right? Okay, now when I've done that, what happens is I can then, look at this, I can create some space there and then put some hills here in the middle ground. Okie dokie. See that? And now those mountains feel like they're farther away because of this effect of having the darks fade into these midtones, right? Only I'm doing everything with just line and solid color, right? I'm not actually using any real values here. So this is like, it's an inking technique, right? This is brought over from way back when from engraving, right? Engravings and etchings. Ways to create value using only line. Well, here's one of them right here. All right, so I hope you understand this technique and I hope you like this because this is a really handy thing you can work into your drawings. It's a little fancy, it's a little more advanced than the typical thing we talk about here on the show, but I really wanted to share that with you. Now, the main takeaways are this, okay? We want to look at breaking up in a nice irregular set of diagonals the general silhouette of your mountain, right? So this is really, what I'm doing is this. If you were going to really simplify it, right? That's kind of what we're doing. But we're breaking it up here and there with different diagonals and so on. And I hope that really helps. These can be rough lines, but they need to follow at any angle. Well, good question. I think that these lines that I'm drawing, I mean, the lines that I'm drawing for tone, so to speak, are all following one direction because I don't want them to be distracting. You know, you could do things like cross-hatching. You could have lines going and then do this, and you could have them be more dense, right? Cross-hatching, and then a little more sparse, and then even more sparse as you go down until eventually. So that's another way to do it, okay? Hope that helps. Generally speaking, yeah, you don't want the tone to become distracting. Now, these various lines I add here and there just for a little bit of interest, that's really just to break up those big white areas. And, you know, those can be drawn in any direction, doesn't really matter. You know, I'm not trying to get too detailed in there. I don't want it to become an area that you focus on too much because, again, these are in the distance. These are background elements. We want to keep them a little more simple and have them be less busy or take away too much of our attention when compared with our foreground elements, right? Unless these are the focal point. You want people to look here. Okay, there's a little birdie right there. You get the idea. So there's your art tip. Now, unfortunately, I can't really do the animal and activity game since it looks like I've got things finished out on the other stream side. And however, I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you enjoyed the You Draw It. And I'll be back tomorrow again, and I'll double check the time on that, make sure that we don't have a mix-up this time. But thanks for hanging out and joining me. This will be archived with all of our other shows as usual. So, you know what? Until then, I just want to tell you all, thank you for watching. And please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and above all, remember to be kind. And I will see you next time. Ciao for now.